Known as the absolute pinnacle of the barbecue world, authentic Texas-style barbecue reaches its peak right from the very start. In South Korea, a country where anything and everything can be grilled, barbecue joints are everywhere, and everyone loves grilled meat. If you were to ask what the ultimate realm of gastronomy is, it is without a doubt the simple joy of feasting on big chunks of meat and downing large drinks. This is Amateur Workshop, a barbecue restaurant located in Sihong, Gyeonggi-do, South Korea. This seemingly unassuming barbecue joint managed to skyrocket to fame in just a brief 3-month period. Anyone who has tasted their food gives it a huge thumbs up, turning it into a holy grail pilgrimage site for barbecue lovers. The greatest feature of Texas-style barbecue is its unique smoking process, where the choice of wood is absolutely critical. Different woods impart different flavors to the seasoned meat. The owner bypasses the traditional method of manually splitting logs with an axe and instead directly uses oak wood pellets for a grueling 13-hour smoke session, infusing the seasoned meat with a deep, soulful smoky aroma. Texas barbecue heavily favors beef brisket. Because of its tight grain and evenly distributed fat, brisket manages to stay incredibly tender and bursting with juices even after hours of smoking and cooking. Before grilling, the owner meticulously trims away all excess fat. Another hallmark of Texas barbecue lies in its minimalist seasoning. Traditionally, the seasoning for Texas barbecue is very simple, relying primarily on salt and black pepper to build the foundational flavor profile. Compared to barbecue from other regions, Texas barbecue does not rely on complex marinades or high-sugar barbecue sauces. Instead, it lets the wood smoke aroma and the natural deliciousness of the meat take center stage. Once all the seasonings are thoroughly mixed, fresh cuts of pork neck are evenly coated with the spice rub, immediately followed by the previously trimmed beef brisket. After a brief marination to let the flavors sink in, these meats are sent into a massive pit for hours of low-temperature smoking. This low and slow cooking method slowly breaks down the connective tissues in the meat into gelatin, making the meat incredibly tender and melt in your mouth soft. Aside from beef and pork, this shop also offers chicken thighs and pork ribs. The owner meticulously trims the excess fat off every single chicken thigh, and for the ribs, he peels off the membrane before cutting away the extra fat. Using the same familiar taste and the same familiar recipe, the seasoning is evenly rubbed all over the ribs. Then, the ribs and chicken thighs are neatly arranged inside the pit. Along with them are sweet potatoes, a favorite among children. Next up is the preparation of a mushroom soup, and the final result turns out to be completely unexpected. After filling a pot with clean water, chicken thighs and chicken carcasses are tossed into boil. Once cooked, they are pulled out and cooled down with cold water. The internal organs and chicken skin are removed, and the meat and bones go back into a pot filled with fresh water to simmer. To eliminate any unwanted odors and enhance the flavor of the broth, vegetables and spices are added. Chopped onions, carrots, and celery are poured into the pot, followed by bay leaves and Sichuan peppercorns. While waiting for the broth to come to a boil, the owner begins making the barbecue sauce. This is specially crafted to pair with various meats. Its sweet, tangy, savory, and aromatic profile doubles the deliciousness when paired with pork, beef, or chicken. Chopped onions are tossed into an oiled pan and sautéed until fragrant. Then various seasonings are added and stirred until aromatic. Next, a soy sauce blend and ketchup are poured in, followed by an appropriate amount of oyster sauce and fresh water. As the owner stirs continuously, the sauce in the pot gradually thickens into a rich consistency, at which point it is ready to be ladled out. By this time, the simmering broth is fully done. The chicken carcasses and vegetables are scooped out, and the broth is strained through cheesecloth before ice cubes are added to cool it down rapidly. Right after, butter is placed into a fresh pot. Once melted, sliced onions are tossed in and sautéed evenly, followed by the prepared mushrooms. Finally, the chilled broth is poured into the pot along with a small handful of white rice. It is simmered until thick and then transferred into a blender. As the blender wears away, a mushroom soup that is delicious beyond expectation. At this point, after hours of smoking, the meat in the pit has taken on a beautiful dark mahogany bark color. To maintain the tenderness and juiciness of the meat, the owner spritzes it with a generous amount of fruit juice. The sweet potatoes are now fully roasted, so they are pulled out and arranged on a plate. The owner then checks the internal temperature of the meat inside the pit. The chicken thighs are pulled first, followed by the brisket and pork neck. He wraps them all tightly in aluminum foil. This seals the juices and steam inside, preventing the barbecue from drying out, maintaining its tender texture, and allowing the meat to better absorb the flavors of the seasonings and spices. Once completely wrapped, they are placed back into the pit to finish cooking. Taking advantage of this cooking window, the owner lights up charcoal and places sausages, chicken thighs, and beef brisket onto a grill to char, brushing them with the freshly simmered barbecue sauce. The rich aroma of the sauce and the savory scent of the rendering fat intermingle. A gorgeous Maillard reaction takes place, sending a rich, meaty aroma wafting right to the nose. Now, the wrapped pork neck is perfectly done. The foil is opened, and the meat is transferred into a basin. The owner uses a wonderfully rustic approach, grabbing the meat directly with his hands, to minimize the time it takes from leaving the pit to carving, plating, and entering the customer's mouth. The goal is to deliver the blistering heat, rushing juices, perfect texture, and intense smoky aroma to the diner all at once in its absolute peak state. Opening the foil to reveal the wrapped beef brisket, you must never be fooled by its dark, seemingly unremarkable exterior. When a sharp, long knife slices through the charred black crust, you will discover just how beautifully that layer of fat covering the brisket's surface protected the meat inside. Barbecue like this, do you like it?